These are the places you wish you knew about before your trip. Unexpected statues, epic vistas, sobering devastation, and serene escapes. You could say that this video is a goldmine of hidden gems. And yes, there's a goldmine too. Today, I'm going to take you through my personal top 10 of astonishing hidden gems in the north of Japan. But first, if you take any time looking over a map of Japan, you'll see plenty of the word onsen dotted here and there and everywhere. Onsen means hot spring. If you want to try out the onsen experience for yourself, I think Kusatsu is the absolute #1 place to go. And it's not just me, it's consistently rated in the top 5 of all the hot spring resorts. And there are so many reasons why. Onsen often only have one kind of water on offer, but at Kusatsu you have several different types, and perhaps that's why it has such a legendary reputation. This town is also remarkably close to Tokyo, about 3.5 hours away by train. Add that to the stunning mountain scenery and you've got yourself a pretty unbeatable combination. But what Kusatsu also has that's unlike any of the other hot spring towns is the brilliant focal point at its heart. This is the hot water field known as the Yubatake. See, the spring water here is actually too hot to use when it comes out of the ground, so it has to go through specially constructed cooling channels in this oval shaped area before it can be used. In days gone by, this process was achieved with a rather more energetic technique, but now it offers a unique display, especially at night, and it brings all the visitors together to create a festival-like atmosphere every single evening. It's a brilliant place for an overnight retreat away from the clatter of the capital, but just as gorgeous if you can only visit on a day trip. Right up at the very northern tip of Honshu, Aomori City is a very unfairly overlooked place by many visitors, as it's often a place you pass through on the way to another destination. But Aomori is home to my favourite festival in the entire country, Nebuta Matsuri. Now, since festivals in Japan always bring with them vast hordes of crowds, I only bother with the absolute best, and Nebuta Matsuri definitely gets an S+ in my ranking. This is an annual festival and you'll want to be here at the start of August to get right up close with these monster floats. And I do mean close, you could walk up and touch them if you wanted to. The vibrant colours of these towering works of art are loud enough to melt your eyeballs, and you'll wonder how any of the people pushing these floats around can walk the following day. If you can't make it in August, lucky for you that there's the Nebuta Museum here that displays the best of the previous festivals all year round. Here you can also learn about the sheer amount of energy and passion that goes into building the floats, a process that takes around 1 year. But that's not all. In the days before the Shinkansen extension up to Hokkaido, there was no tunnel under the sea, and people and goods needed to take a ship across the Suruga Strait. And if you want to understand what a revolution took place when Honshu and Hokkaido got linked by a rail tunnel, head over to the Seikana Ferry Memorial Ship. This portal to the past is a floating museum that helps you understand how people here were travelling not so long ago. I thought it was staggering how they brought actual trains onto these boats, but as they say, the past is another country. Now, if you're like 95% of other visitors, if I say Japanese countryside to you, chances are you think of somewhere like Shirakawa-go, or possibly a very fictional scene including Totoro. Sorry if you thought that was a documentary. But here's a newsflash for you. Not all countryside looks the same in Japan, and Karuizawa is a case in point. This mountain resort town is a distinctive blend of alpine scenery, old school Western style buildings, all laid out and kept unbelievably cozy thanks to impeccable Japanese standards. The European storybook look to the town is all thanks to the foreign visitors who built summer houses and hotels up here to escape the horrors of the Tokyo Terraopolis, as well as its obscene summer temperatures. You might think that this makes Karuizawa a less Japanese spot to visit, but the way that east and west marry up in this town is precisely what makes it properly Japanese. Get out into the crystal clear air and dream yourself away at the wraparound Shiraito Falls or the nature overdose site Kumoba Pond. Whether you walk or cycle through the town, it's hard not to be impressed by the way Karuizawa tastefully hides itself in the forests. It's not a 100% hidden gem, but I'll give them an E for effort. You'll feel truly snug if you choose to stay at one of the many guest houses or B&Bs tucked between the trees. As a holiday town, cafe culture here is second to none, with just far too many top-tier breakfast eateries to sample in one trip, although I wouldn't blame you if you tried. There's a stylish hot spring resort, several distinctive churches often used for destination weddings, and plenty of unusual museums and attractions to keep everyone happy. And best of all, you can get here on the Shinkansen in a little over an hour from Tokyo. Now I'm guessing that you really like hidden gems in Japan, and that's why I think you'll love one of my Japan Out There books. They're full of secret spots that have taken me years to track down, so you can have a properly unique and astonishing trip away from the tourist hordes. Check out the link in the pinned comment or use the QR code on screen now. Now, just because your hotel room makes a matchbox look palatial doesn't mean Japan can't do big. I mean, I put epic in the title, so I guess I should deliver on it. And I'm gonna do a FedEx job on this one because look at this monster. This is the Ushiku Daibutsu, a gargantuan depiction of Amitabha Buddha, and you'll find it east of Tokyo after a train ride of about an hour. This awe-inspiring masterpiece is understandably the tallest statue in all of Japan, measuring up at a stupendous 120 meters or a little bit under 400 feet. This also pushes it into the top 10 of the world's tallest statues, although once it held the top spot for that list too. Inside you can take a lift up 85 meters into the Buddha's head, where you'll find the observation deck. If you visit on a clear day, you're supposed to be able to see the Sky Tree and even Mount Fuji. But even if you miss out on those sights, it's still one breathtaking view. I actually prefer viewing this Buddha from the outside, as you can find some properly staggering angles if you know where to look. Even from quite a distance, the size of this thing is truly jaw-dropping, and seeing the models and explanations of how it was put together will leave you in awe of the design and construction geniuses who pulled it off. Helpfully, the statue is surrounded with gardens featuring some beautiful seasonal flowers, and thanks to the right kind of trees, it's an incredibly unique place to visit during the cherry blossom season. Now, if you're finding this video helpful in giving you ideas for your next trip, do me a favour and drop me a thumbs up so I know that I did a good job. Now, my next pick isn't a place as such, but that doesn't matter. My video, my rules. This lesser known experience is one that will stay with you for the rest of your life, and it's utterly unique. Forget all the Shinkansen. This here is possibly the most singular train in the whole of Japan. It's the Hi-Rail 1375 sightseeing train, so called because it runs along the most elevated railway line in the country, topping out at 1375 meters. In the daytime, you'll catch some of the most stunning views down through the valleys of Nagano and Yamanashi prefectures. But come the night time, this high altitude route is perfect for checking out the heavens, and that's where the train's celestial theme comes in. It's packed with galactic motifs throughout and even has its very own mini planetarium. But the highlight of any trip on this stargazing train is a stargazing session with a local expert held at one of the stations along the route. The whole package is a truly one-of-a-kind adventure that's so magical it'll have you wondering for weeks, did that really happen? Or was it just a dream? And if you visit my next pick, you might feel struck by a similar sensation of being displaced, perhaps by a few hundred years though, because in Ouchi Juku you may as well have time travelled. Such is the antique, rustic look of this preserved post town. This Edo period settlement features lashings of traditional thatched roof houses, some of which double as shops and eateries, all trying to recreate the look of Japan in the 16 and 1700s. The electricity and telephone cables have all been buried here, helping to maintain the authentic look. And if you head into some of the buildings in the winter, don't be surprised to see a traditional open fire in the middle, boiling some water for a pot of green tea. On the food front, the best lunch option is the completely left field negi soba or leek noodles. The leek is cut specially so that you can use it as a spoon, an experience you won't forget in a hurry. This ultra nostalgic village is great to visit whatever the season, but looks particularly captivating in the winter months. I was lucky enough to visit when there was snow on the ground, which makes the time travel experience all the more intense. Uchijuku hasn't been gentrified and it doesn't get swamped with Fushimi Inaris of visitors, and due to its location, it probably never will. Lucky for the discerning few who make the trip here. Now, you can't visit Japan without having at least a few thoughts about natural disasters that might happen while you're here. Earthquakes, tsunamis, typhoons, and volcanic eruptions. This country has seen pretty much everything when it comes to having your home trashed by nature. And to learn about these calamities up close, I think there's no better place to go than Kesenuma. This small fishing city took a major battering in the 2011 earthquake and tsunami and has preserved many of the ruined buildings. There are several locations in the area where you can see the devastation in its raw form, which of course is as frightening as it is surprising. Over at the Kesenuma City Memorial Museum, you can explore a ruined high school complete with debris, trashed textbooks and equipment, and cars swept into upper floors or turned completely upside down. This is also where you can listen to the testimony of survivors on video, and yes, it may ruin your day, but it will definitely give you a fresh perspective on life. Coming to Kesenuma is a great way of supporting the community in recovery, but you should leave reminded of just how precious each of your days is. Of course, Japan is a land of temples and shrines, but for this top 10, there's only one that's good enough to include, and it's perched at the top of a hill in rural Yamagata Prefecture. Yamadera, or Mountain Temple, is a serene temple complex that you can only get to by climbing about 1,000 steps up a steep slope. The ascent goes deep through a forest too, and you'll not quite believe that you're only a few minutes away from the railway station. This temple goes all the way back to 860 AD, and it's known for a visit by the famous Japanese poet Basho, who wrote one of his most well-known haiku here. You'll most definitely want to come here for the astonishing views of the valley and mountains below from Godaido Hall, which serves as an observation deck. Although it's a popular spot with the most dedicated photographers who make the climb to get incredible shots, if you hang around for a few minutes, you'll likely have the place to yourself. I've visited here in the depths of winter as well as the heights of summer, and it's always been an incredible experience, especially when I've been left alone with the view all to myself. Whatever the time of year, Yamadera is one of the top tier spots to visit, unmatched by all the rest. But for top draw scenery everywhere you look, as well as one of the very best places to escape the buzz of the city, we need to get back to Aomori Prefecture and this time head inland to Lake Toada and the Warasse mountain stream. This stunning scenic gorge is home to a series of exquisite waterfalls, each one seemingly more astonishing as you make your way down the stream. There are the long multi-drop variety, the epic panoramic kind, and the towering drop sort. A different waterfall is always just around the corner. The hiking trail that follows the mountain stream is beginner level and can easily be covered in a day, and that's good because you'll want as much time as possible to drink in the gorgeous scenery, especially the crystal clear water and stunning greenery. I often run out of time when I'm hiking this route, and it's really not difficult to see why. The source of the Warasse stream is the expansive Lake Toada, a caldera lake that forms out of a collapsed volcano. It's the largest of its kind in all of Honshu, Japan's main island, and an amazing countryside getaway. It's popular with day tripping tourists, but in the evenings you'll have the place all to yourself, so you can take a walk along the shores of the lake in peace, plan out the rest of your Japan trip, or have a lovely cup of Earl Grey. Lake Toada and Warasse are often touted as best visited during the autumn leaves season, and while it's true that the changing colours add another level of beauty to this destination, I've been here enough times to know that it's utterly gorgeous any time of year. Just do one thing for me, spend a few days here rather than doing a day trip. You'll thank me later. So now we come to my absolute favourite top spot in the northern reaches of Japan. It's Sado Island. This place has got everything. Incredible history, fascinating culture, as well as some of the very best scenery in the whole of the country. Once used as a place to exile unwanted political figures, Sado also used to be the #1 producer of gold in the country and contributed a major portion of funding to the Tokugawa shogunate in the 16 and 1700s. The gold mines are now open to the public, as well as the abandoned yet picturesque processing buildings, which now look a lot like they're straight out of a Ghibli animation. The Kinzan gold mine was chosen to be a World Heritage Site in 2024, and about time too. Further up north on the island is the incredible rugged coastline of Senkaku Bay, which can be enjoyed from a tour boat, so you can admire the artistry of nature over thousands of years up close. This scenic spot is again among the very best you'll find in the entire country, so enjoy it as much as you can from as many angles as possible. Thanks to the gold mine and other trading activities, Sado Island has long had a history of being an important call on Japan's maritime trading routes. This is what powered the creation of Shukunegi, a small village formerly populated by shipbuilders and other merchants who supported the shipping industry. You'll want to allow yourself an extra hour or two to explore every single nook of this maze trapped in time, but don't leave the area before you've taken a ride in one of the iconic tugboats called Tarai Bune. It's impossible to talk about Sado Island without talking about the influence of taiko drumming here. The island plays host every year to a huge taiko festival known as the Earth Celebration. But if you can't make it to Japan in August, don't worry. You can always visit the Taiko Centre on the island instead. Set up by the Kodo Cultural Foundation, the centre's taiko instructors can take you through a crash course in taiko drumming, even using enormous hand-carved drums that used to have a life as keyaki trees. I'm only scratching the surface here, as Sado has so much to see and do. You could easily spend a week here and still not be done. So that's my ultimate top 10 picks for the north of Japan. But if you're wondering about the rest of the country, this up here might be the video that you're looking for. See ya.